When it comes to cardio for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's a lot of things that's going to help you. What you have to remember, and I'm a big proponent of two schools of thought here. Number one, most of your conditioning should probably come from spending more time on the mats. Yeah, very simple. However, there's only so much of that you can do and improve your cardio, because there's going to be a point in time where you're honestly going to be focusing on so many technical things that you're not going to be able to push to the extent or the duration you have to in order to build your conditioning. So that's where we need to actually look at how can we improve the underlying physiology of your body so that you can perform better on the mats. That's it. It's very simple. It's very fucking simple. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to be doing fucking burpees and then jumping over a box and then landing and then doing, some sort of other crazy thing, right? Simple things, air bikes, rowers, running, swimming. All of these things are going to be absolutely fucking incredible. But what I want to share with you is this. I want you to use different breathing strategies as a way of training cardio, but also as a way of simply improving cardio right now, because you're probably just going fucking balls to the walls, and that's a problem because you're going to gas. You're not going to be able to spend any significant amount of time on the mats doing hard rounds and things like that if that is the case. So here's what to do. You're going to have 4 different gears, and I have not invented this, okay? I'm just saying that right now. I'm taking it from someone else. But gear 1 is nasal breathing. Nasal breathing only at a cadence that is 2 to 4 seconds in, holding for 2 to 4 seconds, 2 to 4 seconds out, holding for 2 to 4 seconds. It's almost like box breathing if you're used to that, from things like yoga and stuff like that. That is a very low intensity. We're probably talking upwards of sort of 30% intensity. And then we start moving into gear 2. Gear 2 is still nasal breathing, but it's only to the point where there is no cadence anymore. So if you're still breathing 2 to 4 seconds in, out, things like that, you're still in gear 1. As soon as you're not longer able to keep that cadence, you're walking into gear 2. Very simple stuff. So now I'm breathing through my nose. I'm not allowed to breathe through my mouth at all. Close that mouth. Shut up. Don't use it. You must breathe through your nose only in gear 2, but there is no cadence. So you could be... There is no cadence or rhythm at all. Some breaths can be slow, some can be really fast. But now you can actually be able to work upwards of sort of 70% intensity if you start training this way. And if you train how to do nasal breathing well, you're actually going to be able to train harder and harder and harder doing nasal breathing only. So it's a really good way to just control your intensity, right? Because wearing heart rate monitors and shit like that can be quite difficult if you are doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The third gear, second last gear, this is now when you're working so hard that you must have some level of mouth breathing. So most of it should probably be still nasal breathing if you're in low gear 3, but you can no longer breathe only through your nose. You have to have a couple of these breaths. So now we're working that sort of 70-80% intensity range. If you are then just fucking going balls to the walls and you're getting more and more mouth breathing, and eventually you're just heaving for air, you're then in gear 4. I use these strategies with all my students on the mats, with every single person that I train that we do cardio with. I ever rarely use heart rate as a measure. It's just too complicated, especially with combat sport athletes. So keep that in mind. Use gear 1, 2, 3, and 4, and watch out for the next video because I'm going to teach you how to actually train this using different strategies and different pieces of equipment.